take you through it all in one sitting. The story of the origin of life on Earth. About 4 billion years ago, the first life forms born on Earth. This is terrestrial, single-celled life. It is also the common ancestor of all life on Earth. Soon time came 2.40 billion years ago. The Earth at that time. Not the blue planet we know today. At that time, the Earth was covered by huge clouds of methane. And the atmosphere has also been dyed yellow. When life appeared on Earth. But it got even worse. Volcanic eruptions on Earth. For millions of years. The Earth during this period is like purgatory on Earth. No sign of life. But out in the ocean, something amazing happened. They were the first plankton on Earth. These tiny cells has evolved a special photosynthesis. It was a milestone. This particular skill uses sunlight to grow. It will affect all plants on Earth in the future. But more importantly, when they photosynthesize, it generates a whole new gas. It's an essential ingredient for life on Earth. That's oxygen. 21 years. Plankton has revolutionized our planet. Since then, the Earth has become the dark blue we see today. From then on, life will also begin to bloom. Time came 530 million years ago. There's been plenty of life in the ocean, but mostly soft life. They are rooted in the sea. It feeds on plankton. At that time, the bottom of the sea was like a paradise of life. However, from that moment on, predators appear. The moving jellyfish became their target. The jellyfish moves very slowly. Not as good as a classic car from the 1930s. But the autonomy of the jellyfish, so that they can travel further and into the deep sea. Ultimately, from tiny songs, giant jellyfish that evolved into huge bodies. The open ocean at that time belonged to a family of jellyfish. Time came 503 million years ago. At this time, the Earth is already full of trilobites. It's one of the earliest living things of the Cambrian period. They have evolved unique body structures. Hard armor column. They are on Earth. Survived successfully for 300 million years. But there were still threats in the ocean at that time. However, the speed of the night left the three bugs with nowhere to hide. At this time, the armor will become the three wild bugs. The last straw. They shrink their bodies into a ball. Make Chishia unable to speak. Finally, the impatient knight chose to leave. And the trilobite will continue to his destination. About 40 million years later, 468 million years ago. The Earth at this time. Countless life forms have emerged in the ocean. It was the first great explosion of life that had ever happened. Trilobites are still ubiquitous in the oceans. But in the ocean at this time, a new kind of martyr has emerged. This behemoth is today's melancholy, and the common ancestor of the octopus. When their name is Fang Jiao. This creature has a huge body. In the ocean at that time, they are 9 meters tall, extremely dangerous to any living thing. Even in the ocean, to survive for tens of millions of years. At this time, their caregivers, we can no longer afford protection. The horror of the corner style does not. It's not their sheer size. They've evolved a whole new way of hunting. Before that, all predators hunt visually. However, horned food has evolved. Excellent tactile senses. And they are incredibly smart. This is an unprecedented change for martyrs. For trilobites, cornerstones are a nightmare. They used to sell survival armor. Now it's a machine-like crime when it's being interviewed. Ruthlessly crushed. The oceans at this time were ruled by these behemoths. This is the Oranda turtle. an early fish that lived in the ocean. Their strange appearance represents their unique way of eating. They suck. But this unremarkable-looking fish, but the ancestor of all future vertebrates. 20 million years later, 445 million years ago. That's all life on Earth will face a huge crisis. This is a time of massive climate change on Earth. Temperature drops sharply. The result will be a huge disaster. The oceans are freezing fast. All life forms that live in warm waters are doomed. The ocean has been completely frozen, and the surface is also covered in deadly ice. The reason for all this is, at that time, the Earth's carbon dioxide decreased by 60%. After losing the warmth of the greenhouse effect, the Earth soon entered an ice age. And this disaster will last 200,000 years. This also directly leads to, at that time, 85% of life on Earth died. This is the Earth, the first large-scale biological secret. Time came 444 million years ago. Soon 200,000 years passed. A long crack has appeared in the Earth. That's water from a melting glacier. At this time, the Earth is due to the increase of carbon dioxide. The temperature started to rise. The ice is starting to melt. Icebergs hundreds of meters high. Soon it will melt into the warm ocean. Soon these huge glaciers, in the next few thousand years, disappear on Earth. Creatures that live in the deep sea, they were fortunate to escape the catastrophe. Now I finally have a chance to return to Qianhai. These giant cuttlefish, still the same as the ancestors of Glacier 7, they came to Qianhai looking for significant others, contribute to the reproduction of the species. But they do stand out from the crowd. When the time came 374 million years 70 ago, million years after the end of the Ice Age. At this point vertebrates entered the stage of history. They are Dengshiyu, descendants of the once humble Aranda fish. They are 10 meters long. It was the most terrifying predator in the ocean at the time. Even juvenile duns are incredibly fierce. This is the game. They are the close relatives of parrot luo. However, during the Devonian period, they are a feast for Dengshiyu. Dengshiyu's speed is extremely fast. The boulder has nowhere to run. But they have a whole new survival strategy. When it comes to avoiding danger, they can jet propulsion, so that you can live. They can change direction to avoid predators. A strong escort is their best defense, but better suited to having something our ancestors didn't have. That's a powerful bite. It was pretty much doomed. The fish's big mouth can easily crush it. As early vertebrates, Deng's fish rely on a strong bite force to weigh. The Devonian Ridge period. Not even early sharks can compare. Back to Earth 500 million years ago, the land was completely unsuitable for fireworks. Everywhere is full of desolation, a dead silence. But it's a different story in the ocean. This is a special life form called the first. They are not plants. It's fungi and algae, combination of. They were once in the ocean. Is a unique existence. It's a very innovative way of working together. And the special relationship will also help them survive in harsh environments as time goes by. Finally, and they did that on land. The first piece of soil. This also paved the way for the arrival of plants. The current moss title is their descendant. Tens of millions of years after this, plants began to populate the continents of the Earth. And more towering trees. It represents that life is thriving at this time. Flourish. The Earth is now teeming with life. The time came to 3.45 a year ago. The first animals to arrive on land from the sea were amputees. They are close relatives of the 3 wild bugs. After coming to land, they still retain their hard armor. And these armor also help it breathe. but due to the high oxygen content of the Earth inside. And there were some great temperate animals. This is a millipede called the centipede. It was the largest controlled animal that ever lived. They are 3 meters long. There were very few predators, but they had one big flaw. That is no eyes. They move with their senses. And moving slowly. Not as good as a classic car from decades ago. All fierce centipedes in addition to their daily foraging. The other important thing is finding a mate. They look pretty scary. But in fact, he was gentle. Today's robbery failed. Finally found a female. But to succeed together. But it still requires a lot of setbacks. Bear police must follow the scent left by the female star. Finally find the female star. Like many animals today, he needs to show his charm. To gain the favor of the female. And finally stay their own descendants. Today, billions of years later, descendants of fierce centipedes, countless species have evolved. This kind of bead is only 1 centimeter in size, but evolved the same as their ancestors. The superpower that the fierce centipede does not have. They are tiny. But he had an amazing ability. These jumping beads are colorful, and they dance beautifully. They move their bodies, like a peacock opening the screen. Show off your graceful figure, so as to attract females. But for males, any courtship is not easy. He needs to work hard to perform his dance. But 300 million years ago, other temperate animals, they developed the ability to fly, to increase survivability. Flying is a very good means of survival. At that time, temperate animals were the first creatures to soar in the blue sky. Time came 310 million years ago. The first animals to evolve flight appeared near the swamp. And dragonflies are one of them. The way they fly, as perfect as a textbook. So that today, hundreds of millions of years later, the dragonflies remain the same ability to fly as our ancestors. They are incredibly agile and highly maneuverable. Outperform today's fighter jets. Such a perfect body, almost unchanged for hundreds of millions of years. However, they also live in another animal in this swamp. Something big is happening. Underwater in this swamp, a brand new animal is about to be born. They evolved from fish. This is leafy. Some of them. First to evolve into a bigger body size. During this period, eating fish is an important survival rule. And huge size, which means there's almost no world. But the leafy likes to live in the dive zone. This not only helps them avoid predators, let them evolve, has a special ability. Their special fins, to support their slow climb to land. But more importantly, they also evolved the ability to breathe air. Leaffish have no gills. Breathing depends on the most primitive lung cancer in the body is completed. That's an amazing change. From then on, vertebrates can leave the water body, come to land and explore a whole new world. But the new world is also full of danger. Here are animals that have been the first to complete evolution. This night, the rest is just a feast for them. This is a rocky beach mud. They are 3 meters long. Legs have already evolved. But this process took millions of years. Finally, they were able to come to live on land. And that's a big change. For all the animals that have ever lived in water, has a huge impact. What followed was the age of amphibians. Time came 300 million years ago. This is the Carboniferous age of the Earth. The continents merged, and the supercontinent was born. But the land of the Earth is constantly flat and dry. The great marshes that were once on land are gradually disappearing, due to the continuous decrease of water sources. Most animals are struggling. But there is one animal. They developed a great adaptation. They laid their eggs on land, so that future generations can better develop in it, free from outside interference. But there is a thin film growing inside, can isolate the outside world. When the time is right, these woolly animals will come out of their shells. Their ability, unmatched by amphibians. All mammals since then, reptiles, birds, and later dinosaurs, will be the beneficiaries of this way of life. Time came 252 million years ago. This is 60 million years after the first egg was born. This is Earth. The continents are teeming with egg-laying animals. This is a primitive behemoth wearing armor. This is Ankylosaurus. It was the largest food on Earth at that time. One of the grass animals. It can weigh up to a ton. Due to the evolution of egg-laying, so they can be at the most extreme and dry places to survive. But it's not just for them. There is another animal living here. Now they are not inconspicuous, but they are the future, the ancestors of all mammals. He is the sailor. But there's a predator out there. He is a historical beast. They were very strong and very fierce. Can easily defeat any large beast today. And they have an extremely keen sense of smell, helps them track their prey easily. But they want to hunt the armored dragon. It wasn't easy. But the beast of history has a secret weapon. That's bladed history. This is also the origin of its name. They were like the big cats of today. When hunting, you also need to hide your tracks, but it's 3.5 meters long. They weigh 400 kilograms, and it's not easy to do that. He has to be careful. Attack without alerting the armored dragon. Although the armored dragon has armor to protect its body, history has found their weakness. However, history is not ruled for long. Now, north of the supercontinent, catastrophe is happening. The land there has been covered with volcanic lava. There's more lava underground, waiting for the pump to come out, and that's just the beginning. Volcanic eruptions during the Permian period will last for millions of years, and it erupted on a massive scale. This is essential for all life on Earth, will bring devastating blows. Back in time to the triple stage 250 million years after the Earth experienced a catastrophe. At this moment, the volcanic magma cools slowly, and the land is gradually returning to calm. The land at this time is like a dead memory. No life at all. But there is a creature underground. It's still thriving. They are fungi. Soon these fungi will regenerate the Earth. But other than that, there's another animal. They survived tenaciously. He is the sailor. This strange-looking animal relies on digging burrows in the ground. Saved them from catastrophe. They were very unremarkable. But one of the few survivors on Earth. However, it is not easy for the water dragon beast to survive. They have to travel dozens of kilometers. It is possible to find a few mistakes because of this land has not yet fully recovered from the catastrophe. They have to be more tenacious to deal with this poor land. The water dragon race at this time, it makes up 3/4 of all vertebrates on Earth. This is something that no animal has ever done before. But they are not the only ones here. As a herbivore, their reign is not destined to last long. 2 million years later, 248 million years ago, at this time, the almost barren Earth still ruled by the water dragon. At this time, it seems that the years are quiet for the water dragon, but the crisis is coming. Due to the continuous recovery of the Earth, some of these reptiles evolved a huge body. Now they and the water dragon hand, living on the same land. This is a silver crocodile. They are 5 meters long, weighs a ton. It was the largest predator on land at the time. At this time, his target is Shui Long's Hu. Since the two have never met, so the sailors ignored the threat. But soon they paid a heavy price for it. Introducing crocodiles as predators completely ended the reign of the water dragon, and eventually led to their extinction. This was the age of reptiles. The curtain officially opened. On some remote islands on Earth today, between reptiles and mammals, there's still a lot of competition. This allows us to peer into the distant past. This is a Komodo. It is reported that Yu is facing a huge threat right now. It's an important survival rule here. It is reported that for adult Komodo, in order to survive, they will swallow anything they can eat. This also includes children of the same kind. And these giant lizards are rarely picky eaters, to ensure that they can survive in a difficult environment. Buffalo is a Komodo, my favorite meal ever. But they usually prioritize buffalo larvae. The perennial buffalo has a strong counterattack ability. Komodo is not known to want to risk attacking them. Soon he locked on the target. The little buffalo not far away is very tempting. He launched an attack. Although it seems he failed. But it didn't turn out like that. It is reported that when Komodo attacked his prey, his saliva contains deadly bacteria and venom. This allows the prey to kill in a very short time, incapacity, even die. The way of life of Komodo, dating back to the distant Triassic era. It's also like a historical microcosm of that era, but from then on, mammals must fight for their right to live. And reptiles are officially open. Glorious era of domination. Back in time 234 million years ago, the world's largest volcano is erupting again, as the Earth's temperature rises rapidly. As the temperature continues to rise, Earth is also experiencing a different natural disaster again. Volcanoes, hurricanes, and torrential rain come and go. Natural disasters continue to ravage the Earth, especially with this endless downpour. He will last 1 million years. This rain will fall on the Earth, forming a huge flood. At that time, the Earth was almost covered by rivers and islands. For animals that live on land, would have terrible consequences. Time came 210 million years ago. 20 million years after the Great Flood, reptiles adapted to the new world of Earth, finally starting to rise, and gradually began to rule the Earth. These future rulers, from these births hatched one by one. Like their ancient ancestors, they were covered in scales. You need to be self-sufficient from birth. Parents will not feed them. It's not going to protect us. Here everything is up to them. This is also for their future rule. Lay a solid foundation. Because it's the law of the jungle, a world of survival of the fittest. Soon the time came 152 million years ago. The Earth was in the Jurassic period. At this time, the Earth was already full of dinosaurs, and they are also well-deserved rulers. Back to the ocean at that time. Turtles as reptiles. They abandon the land and return to the sea. This may be due to competition. However, the annual breeding season, they still have to return to land to spawn. These thousands of sea turtle armies will gather together. For millions of years, it's one of the most beautiful wonders on Earth. Time came 150 million years ago. This is a giant Archaeosaurus. They are the natural enemies of sea turtles. He's also a reptile. But unlike sea turtles, he lives forever in the ocean. But every year during the turtle breeding season, for snake jinglong, it's like a gourmet feast. Mass aggregation of sea turtles gives them the best chance of hunting. But for turtles, it's been a lifelong journey. It could also be the end of life. A few months later, eggs laid by females start to hatch baby turtles. However, after coming to this new world, they are on their own. They have to swim quickly to the ocean to avoid predators, because in the sky above, ruled by a horde of terrifying flying creatures, birds had not yet appeared. Pterosaurs were the first to evolve the ability to fly. They were quick, they were fierce. Is a deadly threat to baby turtles, at which point they have to quicken their pace into the ocean. Otherwise, death could come at any moment. But the only way to be safe is to hide in the deep sea. Reptiles used to be for a long time rule the sky and the sea. But in the end there is no escape from extinction. Go back 66 million years, and there lived this massive Arabian dragon. These behemoths are the first, one of the largest creatures. Now they are enjoying the pleasure that green plants bring to them, and this pleasant life has continued for the past year. In the ocean is also full of life at this time. Rich food for those giant reptilian dinosaurs provided everything. At this time, dinosaurs had ruled the earth for 150 million years. Land, ocean, the sky is like this, but their glorious reign, it will come to an end today. At the same time, two Tyrannosaurus rex in the forest, trying to have a doomsday relationship. When it comes to love, let me introduce a software to you. This is a diameter moon. 10-kilometer sized asteroid. At this moment he is flying towards the Earth at high speed. The moment he crashed into the Earth, it will also herald the end of a great era. Pretty soon, the tremendous energy generated by the asteroid impact, equivalent to 1 billion Hiroshima atomic bombs. This will give all animals and plants on Earth, bring disaster. And the animals that are charcoal machines. The first is the heat and radiation from the impact. This will be the first deadly threat. And within a radius of 1,500 there will be no life left. All living things will be directly transformed by it. And the seismic waves generated by the impact, soon to reach the world. The Earth will collapse at this time. And started a global earthquake. There was nothing they could do about it. And this was only the beginning of the disaster. Due to a major earthquake, a massive tsunami forms in the ocean. He will quickly sweep the world and every land. At this time, North America will bear the brunt, be on the front line of disaster. Flood waters keep rising. Even the largest Arabian dragon. It was also mercilessly swallowed by the flood 1 hour after the Earth was hit. Countless flame fragments are an attractive force, newly pulled back to the surface. At this moment, they are like burning bullets. And the atmosphere burns like hell. Wherever you go, everything will be consumed by a sea of fire. The surface temperature at the moment is as high as 500 degrees Dinosaurs Celsius. Will be roasted to death by a scorching fire. What's more, pieces of hot rock rain down. For a dinosaur, they couldn't resist at all. Soon the Chelang River, brought by the high temperature, swept across the world. Then the forest is set on fire. As the fire continues to spread, at this time, the dinosaurs on land had no way to escape. Not even the pterosaurs in the sky can be extinguished. This is how dinosaurs burn. No one can save them. In the face of tremendous natural disasters, any life seems insignificant. And in a very short period of time, the once great age of dinosaurs, it ended mercilessly. The ocean is like the land at this time, also crushed. And sulfur-rich sour fish are dumped in the ocean. Marine organisms that live in shallow waters disappeared almost overnight. Large reptile dinosaurs in the ocean was equally unfortunate. Since then, dinosaurs living in the ocean have revealed their secrets. However, the few creatures that live in the deep sea have survived. They feed on carrion and escaped this catastrophe. Now they can only rely on corrosion, struggling to survive a disaster. Back to land. At this time, the surface entered the dead trail again. After a few years, there was no life here. Likewise, there was no sign of life in every corner of the land. However, as the sun shines on the earth again, the surviving creatures kept coming out of the ground. Cut-off animals and insects show up first. And then there are the amphibians hiding in the silt. Since then, new life is beginning to appear all over the earth. They are all in catastrophe. The few survivors. And that includes mammals. Now they have come to a place. A whole new world without dinosaurs, although the living environment at this time is not optimistic. But one particular animal also survived. They are protected by outside photos to continue their tribe. It's the only dinosaur left today. Avian dinosaurs to be exact. These are the ancestors of birds. Before the apocalypse. Once upon a time in the forest tree, hundreds of species of ancient bird ancestors live. But now only they are left on the ground. And these ancient birds classes will continue to evolve over the course of history, until they evolved into true birds. The ancestors of this primitive bird at this moment has become the only remaining bloodline of the dinosaur family. From then on, they will shoulder the responsibility, the genetic burden of dinosaur populations. However, the ancient ancestors of this group of birds, their story began 160 million years ago. Back in time to the Jurassic period 160 million years ago. It was still the world of behemoths. But on the hillside. But there lived a special dinosaur. In order to survive, they chose a different evolutionary direction. That's being petite. He is in the bird cage. It was the only dinosaur to have evolved feathers. They feed on insects. But he also fell prey to other dinosaurs. This is a Sinoraptor. Now he has his eyes on entering the bird cage. He is quietly approaching his prey. Soon he launched an attack. The figure of the bird cage, it's not quite as flexible as it looks. They are not designed for that. Run at high speed on the ground. Unfortunately, the Chinese dragon cornered him. But in the birdcage, maybe not. He suddenly jumped off the cliff. So he can hang glide. And the way he flies are so similar to later birds. This may be a small step into the birdcage. But in the future, a major step forward for a whole new species. Fast forward 20 million years. The extinction of the dinosaurs gave rise to other animals. The opportunity to rise rapidly. These rich, the fertile land allowed many animals to thrive again. This is the southern tip of early America. On Earth, 46 million years after the asteroid impact, once the group was in the cataclysm. The surviving birds. It has now evolved from a Tyrannosaurus rex roar, the most dangerous predator on the planet. They are elusive. From ancient ancestors. It carries all the aggressive genes. a clearing not far away at this time, a group of early mammals emerged. They are huajumo, similar in size to the American origin today. They live in groups, they feed on plants. But now they have been targeted by a deadly hunter. This is a seabird. It was the most fearsome predator on the American continent at the time. Theirs will be like a scythe. Upright height 2.5 meters. Weighs up to 300 kilograms. They can't fly, but it has amazing power. Eating chrysanthemum powder is very vigilant about its surroundings. But the seabird can do it quietly. This is a hunting game for seabirds. It locked onto a target. The seabird can run at a speed of 90 kilometers per hour. So fast, can help him greatly improve the success rate of hunting. Finally, he caught a baby. And the sickle-like meeting comes in handy here. He will deliver the fatal blow to his prey. In the American continent at that time, the seabird is the absolute ruler there. Millions of years later, the seabird still rule the Americas, but by this time the crisis had quietly arrived. Because in that land, they are no longer the only predators. Tens of millions of years after the dinosaurs went extinct, all animals have seen unprecedented development. Without the comfort of a giant beast, they started getting bigger and bigger. It's also getting more aggressive. In the end, even the former ruler high bird also became their prey. Go back in time to the ancient Jurassic period. Mammals at that time could only be humble, living at the feet of behemoths. Trees and little brothers are the only places they have left to live, but as time goes by, an asteroid revolutionized everything. Dinosaurs in this cataclysm disappeared almost overnight. And the mammals that survived. This is a great opportunity for development. Years after the impact, the Earth looks dead silent, lifeless. But for those who are tenacious, rebirth is only a matter of time. After millions of years of self-healing, the Earth is alive again. At this time, green plants have spread all over the corner. Then the Earth became more than ever before, are more suitable for the evolution of life. Humidity and warmth are essential to most life, the most dependent living conditions, and many new species were spawned. Although the asteroid impact made the dinosaurs and the time, other mammals disappeared. But some tiny mammals, due to hiding from my brother, survived. Without the dinosaurs, the living space of mammals, it's been further expanded. They can go places they couldn't go before. These flutes, bears are like their ancient ancestors. It has excellent adaptability. They are highly social animals. It's going to keep their populations thriving. And vast forests are waiting for them to explore. This is the ancestor of the flute raccoon, unreachable heights. Since then, mammals entered a glorious era of reproduction. In the rainforest of Costa Rica today, capuchin monkeys use their smart brains and the coordination of the limbs. You can easily open your favorite delicious food. They are always curious about everything around them. This helps them understand more, so as to better survive. This is a female capuchin monkey. In order to drink fresh water from the tree hole, he brought his ingenuity to the extreme. And the tail became a great tool for him to get water. But it's not an individual high intelligence behavior of capuchin monkeys. They also collect a kind of fruit, peel off the skin and apply his scent to the whole body. The peel of fruit contains essential oils that repel mosquitoes. Apparently capuchin monkeys have long known this effective insect control method. Perhaps it is from their ancestors. Inherited advantages. This is a mammal. The reason it shines after the dinosaurs. Go back 34 million years. The few mammal body sizes at that time has become incredibly large. It's comparable to the extinct dinosaurs. This is a very large male focusine. It's 3 meters tall and 5 meters long. It weighs 3 tons. Their sheer size leaves them with few natural predators, so they can travel further afield in search of food. But like large mammals today, every year during the breeding season, they will meet with their own kind. An unusually violent conflict erupted. The goal is to win the right to mate with the female. Today, this lone male, Jurassic, saw a great opportunity. A female slowly walks over. Maybe this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But this unsuspecting giant impact, it woke him up. It turns out that this female bighorn has a mate. However, he was determined to fight to the death. This is to win this trip. The best chance to leave your own descendants. He has to give it his all without reservation. But in the end he lost. I can only leave in despair, and the loser has to continue your single life again. From this moment on, mammalian variation began to multiply on a large scale on Earth. Time came 2 million years ago. At this time, America was ruled by mammals. It's a strange-looking animal called the giant bullfish. It's one of those mammals. They wear hard armor. The body is like a small car, but it moves very slowly. However, they have a lethal defensive weapon. That's a tail like a wolf's head. Double defense. Let them survive again safe and sound. This is an elderly tiger. He was very curious about the giant bullfish. Currently, he had never seen these big, weird things before. He kept grabbing the bullfish, then jump on the back of the bullfish, trying to find any information that could be eaten. But adulthood is fast. Shaking his body drove him down. But then he aimed at the fish. Again, he tried everything he could to turn the little bullfish over, but the deadly tail of the mother. Soon, it smashed towards him. With the protection of adult cockerels, his scheme never succeeded. In the end, he had no choice but to leave competition among mammals. From the very beginning of their birth. Now in the poorest lands, the oldest competition is still playing out. This is in the Himalayas. This is a male snow leopard. And a bright son he had just hunted. Right now he's enjoying the fruits of his victory. But this snow leopard is getting old. This may be the most significant event in his life. With one of the few meals. You can see it in his eyes. I want to survive on this mountain. Must endure endless torture. And the desire to survive. This is a female blood leopard. And his 3 cubs. They are the family of the Valiflor male blood leopard. But mothers must raise their children alone. And teach young children all the skills they need to survive. This is as a mammal. The most significant genetic characteristics. Snow leopard cubs will live with their mother up to 2 years. Learn all the skills you need. These hardy cats. Walking flat on dangerous cliffs. This old bear leopard. Embark on a hunting trip again today. He has to get close enough to the prey to launch a surprise attack, but on such a steep slope, hunting on the cliffs is always challenging and dangerous. But snow leopards are like high-altitude fairies. They have nothing to fear. Soon he pounced on his prey. However, this unfortunate scene happened. To survive, he chases his prey. Fell off a cliff together. We both perish. Although the death of the male snow leopard is regrettable, but his child will be an adult in a few months. Living alone without my mother. And his courage and unyielding spirit will continue. As a mammal, for millions of years, they have conquered every corner of the earth. Even in the harshest environments. Skyland, they are in the ocean. Go back in time 47 million years ago. This is an animal called a mother spirit. They are the ancestors of all modern sperm. But they are similar to modern whales. They had completely different lifestyles. They prefer to stay on land and bask in the sun only when you need to eat, to find food in the water. They looked more like today's water towers. The limbs are still intact. That's why they can stay ashore. But in the ocean at that time, also living with terrible predators. This is a pedodon shark. They were twice the size of today's great white sharks. He has keen senses, can easily target prey. The mother spirit can only hide in the ditch, but he's running out of oxygen. He must go ashore as soon as possible, otherwise he will drown. But he had nowhere to hide in the open water. He hid in the crevices again, hoped to escape. But he's running out of time. He must flee quickly and get ashore as soon as possible. And the predators are in hot pursuit. Fortunately, he escaped the disaster without a hitch. The mammals of that time wanted to rule the oceans. There is still a long way to go. Back in time 2.50 million years ago. Due to the influence of glacier and ocean circulation, an Earth orbit and atmospheric dioxygen, changes in carbon concentration causing a sharp drop in the Earth's surface temperature. Then the Ice Age began. In this huge white frozen world, very little life could have survived. But in some parts of the Earth, all frozen places, some life has thrived tenaciously here. 20,000 years ago. This is the southern tip of what is now North America. In this snowy world, some mammals adapted to extreme cold. They became the white world, absolute master. And the most characteristic of these, it's this group of behemoths in front of you. They are real mammoths. These chunks are 3.5 meters tall. It weighs 6 tons. It was a veritable behemoth at the time. They shared an ancestor with today's elephants. These behemoths evolved, adapt to all conditions in cold regions. They are wearing thick long hair, own a pair of huge ivory. The 2 little ears are even more so. The main difference between modern shrimp and their tribe, another one, led by seasoned female adults. However, there's a terrifying predator out there. They are academics. These powerful predators rely on the power of the pack. Larger than a modern lion, can pose a deadly threat to mammoths. Especially the baby elephants in the herd. Like lions today, the bachelor is very patient. They will wait for the opportune moment. At this time, the phase group must protect the baby elephant in the middle. Otherwise, once the bachelor sees the opportunity, it could be attacked at any time. Soon they blocked Xiangchuan's way, trying to attract the attention of grown-ups, but Xiangchuan built a solid defensive wall. However, the scholars are still not ready to give up on Zhong. Tooth Claw's intolerable female collar rushed towards them. But it also allows predators to see an opportunity. A teenage elephant has been left alone. Soon the maester seized the opportunity and pounced. The moment the alley fell, proved that these prehistoric, how terrifying are predators. Even big prey like the mammoth. They can also be easily hunted and killed. Although the apostle Xiong Kun came to the rescue, the maester doesn't give up easily on his prey. The death of a baby elephant may give its mother and other relatives bring a long time of sadness. But the end is doomed. Leaving may be their best option at the moment. Next, it is crucial to protect the remaining young disasters, because they have a long way to go. Time came 16,000 years ago. As the climate and Earth's orbit change, now the Earth starts to warm up. The ice is melting. Rapidly rising temperatures will soon affect all parts of the world. Since then, massive icebergs have started to fall into the ocean. But it also led directly to another disaster. And it wasn't long before the animals sensed the danger. They are restless. The earth began to tremble. And not far away is a dust wall 100 meters high, coming soon. But this is just a prelude to the arrival of the tsunami. Soon after, this former grassland immediately submerged in the tide. This flood disaster is even more direct, running through the heart of America. But they formed a series of unique and beautiful scenes. And eventually the Grand Canyon of the Americas was born. This is a global ice meltdown. It also means the end of the Ice Age. However, in the near future, some large animals of the American continent, but never seen again, including the mammoth, the largest land animal of its time, scientists and countless other species, disappears with Glacier 7. Especially in North America at that time, lost almost 70% of the large animals. But there are some species that survived, due to the lack of large predators. The bison quickly spread across the Americas. They spread almost every inch of the land at the time. It's a staggering amount. But just as the bison family was flourishing, one of the most dangerous predators in history has emerged, and there were no other animals to hunt at that time. Therefore, the bison became their only target. Facing this incredibly powerful hunter, bison herds can only be vigilant. Stay away from these predators. However, the bison herd at this time did not know they are walking into a predator's trap. Because what they need to face is the most intelligent predator in history. They don't just work as a team like wolves, and also devise clever traps. And these terrifying predators, early humans on the American continent, they use intelligence and sophisticated collaboration, make up for the lack of strength and speed. Huge brain capacity and active thinking about problems let them slowly begin to rule the land and the entire planet. Humans at this time are in the hunting success rate, long surpassed any other predator. They are no longer satisfied with just hunting one prey. The herd of bison at this time, long into their carefully laid ambush. The rocks on both sides are getting narrower. At this point, the herd of bison had to gather together. That's what early humans wanted. The herd of bison approaches the cliff step by step. And the real hunt is about to begin. Finally, the hunters attacked. They drove the buffalo around. The terrified bison didn't have time to turn around. They went straight off the cliff. For early humans, hunt a large number of bison at one time, enough to eat the whole year time. This is something no other predator can do. And it was also the beginning of human domination of the earth, since the advent of mankind became the most powerful predator ever. And no other species can match it. But the story of our ancestors has only just begun. For thousands of years thereafter, humans have learned to grow crops, no longer rely heavily on hunting for survival, and eventually into the agricultural age. Since then, food has become the main food for human beings. And not only did they tame the plants, many animals were also domesticated and raised in captivity. People no longer lead a nomadic and primitive life. They settle down somewhere and become self-sufficient. Since then, the era of large-scale agriculture has officially arrived. Due to the steady supply of food, they started building. The social fabric is becoming more complex, and civilization was born. In the past few centuries, human ingenuity has built up unprecedented achievements. Earth today, most regions have been conquered by human footprints. What was once a wild land has become modern city. Humans have become the most powerful people on Earth, a highly renowned species. However, many creatures on Earth today, it's disappearing at breakneck speed. This is all caused by humans. If we were still destroying the environment today, regardless of the survival of other species, Maybe when the next mass extinction on Earth comes, it will befall humanity itself. Then human civilization will be like many species, lost together in the long history of the Earth.